Be mindful, the changes are coming out and it's be very beneficial, especially with the surrounding situation, lawsuits that are going on, for you all to be up to date with your terms, because everybody reads all of their contract forms, correct?
Sure.
Correct. That's a lot, can I answer a question? No, it's not true.
Sorry.
Hey, Logan, do you charge for that?
Team class?
Yeah.
No.
Just my love and affection. It's free. You all come, I will provide lunch. So I'll work on setting up a class for you all.
I asked to go at my pool Sunday, because the agent was in another office. He said that he was having to pay.
Yeah, I did not charge anything.
Props to you.
Yes.
And you provide lunch.
And I provide lunch, but yes, be on the lookout for that, and as always, please, if you all ever need anything, reach out to me, I'm always here for you. 678-372-9282, text me, shoot me over an email, call me, and I will more than happily help you. Thank
You're
you all.
awesome, Logan.
Thank you.
Y'all are right, come on.
All right. Woo. Morning.
It's been a while. I haven't been here in a month.
I know.
Woo. Do you want me to change the slide? Are you ready?
Yeah, right here is good.
Okay.
Right here is good. That's just a little memento of our day at Habitat. We had a good crew. Russ was there, the other half.
No, I built another house.
Trader competition.
It finishes Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 of them.
So,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Market update? Go for it.
Sure, all right. Last week was looking really good for mortgage rates until non-farm payroll numbers came out on Friday. Non-farm payroll is a, fancy jargon word for all jobs in the country that are not farming jobs. So it was a report of, are there new jobs? How's it looking? How's the economy looking when it comes to employment? And it looked good, which good news for the economy is bad news for rates, unfortunately. So Friday was a little bit ugly. Rates still holding right around 7, maybe 7.1 on average nationwide. All eyes now are on CPI. Some more jargon for you. Consumer Price Index. That is the measure of inflation. Here we talk about inflation a lot. The big number, month over month and year over year, comes out tomorrow, and it comes out every month. And we're always watching it closely. We're hoping inflation is coming down, which will mean rates will come down. So we'll probably report on that soon, next week or 2 weeks from now. Stay tuned. Hope for good news.
We talk a lot about the employment numbers and because they're so related to our business. And it's just interesting to me, and this sentiment comes from people that we follow, not necessarily me, but Randy Wells used to work for AGP, which is the biggest payroll company in the world. And they also measure employment based on how many paychecks cut. And this whole first part of the year, their feedback is the jobs numbers are not going so much. We've had a number of reports on number of layoffs, they're very high. The unemployment rate at the same time on Friday that you heard there were a bunch of new jobs created, the unemployment rate going up. So my point in saying this and reiterating what I hear from a guy like Barry Habib is that it's just really curious that we keep hearing about all these jobs we're creating, and that is keeping rates high, because the speculation on Friday was if they come in where we expected or below, it was going to make rates go down. We were very optimistic about that, and it's just head shaking that every single month you get these jobs numbers that are completely inconsistent with every other metric that measures that part of our economy. So anyways, just if rates were at 6% right now instead of 7%, we'd all be living in a different world. Yes. And unemployment is the reason that they're not.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you guys know that every person who has a mortgage license, a real estate license, an insurance license, or anything else considered fully employed? That's a huge. Just know that perspective is reality and yeah, so it's not, those numbers are never really real, but right now something screwy is going on.
That's what I meant.
You said it.
Yeah.
Hey, does anybody ever struggle when you're talking to your client about, owner's title insurance?
You should not struggle with that. I'm gonna say,
Right?
should not struggle with that.
Get it!
And my line is, yes, it is optional in the state of Georgia, because it is a state specific thing. For example, in Florida, where Scott and I are both, all three of us are licensed. You have to have it and the seller pays it, but anyway, here it's optional, and so there's a lot of times there's a conversation around that, and to me, it always leads to, well, talk to my good friend attorney, Logan. He does a real good job of explaining it, because they're the ones that price it and they're the ones that support it. So I've been in this business a long time. I've bought a lot of homes. I have never not bought it. And I just had an interesting thing happen, which has never happened to me before. A year ago, we did a loan in Logan's office, and it was an agent in here, and she just got served that there's a lawsuit that if she was not, I forget how it was worded, but anyway, they didn't have the right, she didn't have the right to buy the house type thing. And so it wasn't an investor, it wasn't flip, and it goes back to the person that sold the house to that investor, which my customer bought, right? And so now it's back on that attorney, and I'm gonna have Logan step in, because I think it's interesting, but it's just, so you never know when that's gonna happen, right? And so, and you may think that maybe new construction would be not a good, really didn't need it, or there's just never a good or a bad time not to get owner's title insurance, because you never know when this is gonna happen, but she's protected, which is a great thing, right? And do you wanna comment on it at all? Not specifically.
Yeah, but kind of what it is the transaction before are the owner is now, I guess, trying to say that they fraudulently transferred the property over to the buyer, who then in return, a couple of months down the road, flipped it and sold it to ours. So they filed a lawsuit against that owner, and then they now obviously have served the new owner, since they are owners of the property now, seeking to try to get money back or the property back. Title insurance protects you on anything if there's a claim that somebody owes property due to fraud or forgery, anything like that. So the title insurance, if it would step in and they would help fight that claim for the current owner. And kind of off of the new builds are probably the best to get title insurance with, because there's construction and workers and contractors and subcontractors who are getting paid throughout. And if they don't get paid throughout, mechanics will get filed, and that's the number one cause of getting it stuck onto the new owner. So title insurance with the new build is definitely beneficial, but essentially there was no record of it for us. So we proceeded as a normal transaction, and we had multiple title. There was also in their complaint, it kind of said that they had filed a list pendants to put notice, but they incorrectly filed it, so we actually did not have notice. But that's kind of another reason why title insurance would step in for anything that was misreported. So it's always beneficial. We see it daily. I know Alexis, what she did is she saw it daily, but there's a lot behind the scenes that title insurance helps gets resolved without us even having to make the parties aware of it. So it is a beneficial thing to get.
Remember, it's a one-time fee for as long as you own the property.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a great thing. Just in closing, tomorrow, we're gonna do coffee talk with the productivity team at 11. And then we're gonna serve lunch 12:30 from Mo's. And then we're gonna have Lisa Meyer here. And Lisa Meyer is the woman that heads up our credit essentials course. So she's gonna be here live for 90 minutes. So I encourage you all to come. There is a sign up, so we can get an accurate count for lunch. But that's tomorrow at 1 o'clock
Awesome.
for 90 minutes.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so Logan touched on it, contract, massive changes. Tommy, you already saw some of them.
Yes.
Do they look pretty?
No.
Cool, so do not miss this. You have 4 different options, all online, June 18th, 20th, 25th, or 27th from 10 to 12 with our broker boy. You log on Zoom, kwapbrokerboys.com. Here's the thing. Every attorney has an opinion right now of how this is gonna play out. Here's what I want you to say. That's nice. I'm super thrilled you have an opinion. And what did my broker say? Because how many people were in the business when trade happened? Trade. How many people were alive in 1999? It's a fair question these days. All right, so my child was not alive. So in 1999, what happened? What was everybody panicked about? December 31st, 1999, January 1st, 2000. What was going to happen?
The world.
All the computers were recently charged.
We're gonna die.
Yeah, but there's money on the bank, so my gosh, all the computers are crashed, you're gonna lose everything, the sky is falling, the house is burning down, yeah?
Yeah.
If you were in the business, when trade was happening, isn't that what we thought?
Yep.
Yeah, so let me tell you, trade was, we went from a HUD, which everybody got the same thing, to a closing disclosure, which then has to be sent out 3 days ahead of time. Guess what? Everybody panicked because we said, how are we ever gonna do short closings? We don't have time for that. Yeah, the caveat is they didn't say that the closing disclosure that had to be sent out 3 days ahead of time had to be correct. See the loophole there? Do you guys still have fast closing? Can you guys still do stuff? Yes. So my bet is this is 1999, December 31st. This is trade 2.0. Keep your big girl panties on. Sorry, guys. We are going to get through this and it is going to be okay. Please stop listening to the noise outside of these walls because the people outside of these walls are profiting off of the fear that they are creating by these conversations. You understand that everybody else outside of these walls has a vested interest in you having a certain fear around this coming, yes or yes? So, take a deep breath. We're good. We're gonna get you through this. You may have an extra form. You will not die. Repeat after me, I will not die.
I will not die.
I will still make money,
I will still make money.
and I will still sell houses.
And I will still fill houses.
There you go.
Good?
Yeah.
And if you're at home watching this or in the car, you still need to say that aloud. Repeat it to yourself, internalize it. And please, even the attorneys, barring Logan, of course, but the attorneys, I know there's been quite a few that are doing classes and all kinds of stuff. They have their own perspective and we appreciate that. And we are not going into a lawsuit with these specific forms, so just appreciate their opinion and please be on these. Yeah.
Are the new contracts out?
So to people who are part of the forms committee and some of the instructors and stuff, yes, but no, not generally. Tommy has them sitting on the desk over there. If you want to mass rush him afterwards, yeah. Yes. So make sure you've got this date down, these dates down, pick one and make sure you're on it. All right, so let's talk about negotiations. How many people feel like right this minute they know exactly what to say in all circumstances and all the questions that you're being asked? Anybody?
No.
Cool. So when's the last time that you read a negotiation book? Homework.
I just bought that.
Homework. This is one of my favorite negotiation books, Never Split the Difference. You know why? This is written by one of the top FBI hostage negotiation experts. It is freaking fantastic. Read it. Phil Jones, exactly what to say, and exactly what to say for real estate agents. It's almost like it was written for y'all. So, you want to say the right thing, then make sure you're reading the right thing. Then we can have conversations around it. And also Phil Jones is doing a private course just for KW. And this is about the cheapest I've ever seen being able to take a course from him ever. So we're gonna do a watch party for everybody who buys a ticket. If you wanna come here and watch it together, but you still have to buy yourself a ticket, but we can all hang out and watch it together. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Mega Agent Camp, how many people were on the open house yesterday? KWI, great. Here's the thing. With that, I know that they did not have exact answers because why? Nobody knows how this is gonna play out yet. I don't care who you are, you do not have a crystal ball. And by the time we get to Mega Camp, we will see people implementing stuff. So make sure that if you wanna go, you're getting signed up. We're at the Hilton right next to it. Did you know that our KWRI economist does a monthly economic update so that you can have very clear economic conversations with your clients? If you did not know that, they're only about 10 minutes a month and they are great because they are recaps and it gives you great talking points. I am not going to play it because it's something like, I'm not gonna lie, like he's lovely and brilliant.
It's somewhat normal, right? What's similar, but yet
It's
different
not the
about
most enthusiastic, exciting content. The intro is. Past that, take notes. This is what you need to be your local expert of choice. Fair?
Yeah, that QR is broken.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll fix it and put it in the post Facebook group. All right, who wants money? Good, I told you to check your seat carefully. There are gift cards under a few seats.
Always like, everybody up and out. I got seats to check.
And one of the other ones must have gotten moved to a different place in the office. Well, we're going to stop it, be down. Congratulations. So, yeah, so guys, take your seats carefully and don't come in after the church.
Sticker.
Yeah,
Wait, did you see, is that a pink sticky note?
I got a pink sticky note.
Was there anything in it?
No.
is there anything written on it?
Is there anything written on it?
Nope, just pink.
Just a wad of sticky.
It's pink like your jacket, that one makes you want to say.
I was gonna
I got
say
the
that.
paper today.
No, come see me after I got it. There you go. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this year.
Last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is tickets for Vegas 25. I'm literally.
Yeah. We had two, more of a pandemic, we had our big hit and then we felt a lot, so we had other than our contracts, so they just exactly.
Get your ticket now so that you can get the hotel room that you want. We're in Mandalay Bay at the Delano, which is attached, and you can walk straight downstairs, right outside into the convention center. Cool? Awesome. John,
Yes.
you're up.
President.
I don't know, some guy. That could put a haircut. She's that joke. Thank you for coming. John is gonna tell you a little bit about himself too.
Alright.
Yeah. Well, I didn't figure I'd give you your own intro. I figured you'd explain better yourself. Did you think?
Yeah. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, golly, man.
No, tell him that was not good enough. Hey, y'all, like that response was lame.
No, our response here.
Their
y'all.
response was lame.
Yeah, our y'all side.
Y'all are up here on the north side, so I don't know what y'all means.
No, that's no. I didn't know. Y'all is
Y'all.
Yeah, plural.
Not that much north.
All y'all.
Yeah.
No, but their response was lame.
Knock it off.
Oh, you can move anywhere you want.
You also didn't tell me how long this is.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You have, until 11:50. An hour and a half, 2 minutes. Anything from an hour and a half to 2 minutes.
I can talk. And how long? 10 till when?
Till 11:50 and it's 11:25.
25 minutes. Did she just say I have till 11:15 and it's 11:15? 5-0. That'd be.
Yeah, sit down, man, you're done.
Yeah. So, right off the bat, I don't know how, I just got this, by the way, so if it goes dead, I don't know how to use it. Anyway, no big deal. My name's John Durham. I'll tell you the good about me, and I won't tell you the bad. There's more of that, we'd be here all day. So I'm here, first, before I even talk about me, she said something, and I think it's very, very important for everybody in any business, but especially real estate right now. I love Jeff Glover. I don't know if y'all follow Jeff Glover. I think he's one of the best coaches around. When this when this lawsuit thing hits, he had a webinar, like this emergency webinar. And in my opinion, it was a scare tactic. And of course, like sky's falling. He's selling this stuff. I'm totally cool with that. But what Andrew was saying up here is anytime you're listening to anybody, TV, radio, standing here, wherever they're at, pay attention to what they're selling. Pay attention. Luckily for y'all today, I'm not selling anything. I don't have anything except Andrea wants to bring y'all value. For some reason, she thinks I can do that. I'm not sure about that. Y'all can make that decision. But that's my fear, and to bring value. She said I could talk about anything in the world. So y'all can either ask questions and get what you want to get. Am I gonna mess you up if I move around? Nope.
Okay.
You solid?
So you can either ask questions and let's talk about what you want to talk about. Or I can bore you to death with what I want to
Well,
talk about.
tell them what you do first, and they know.
First of all, I'm a husband of 35 years. Just recently, I am a girl dad. I have no tattoos actually, but my girls have finally told me to get a tattoo.
Yay.
Yeah, it's gonna be girl dad right here.
Cute.
They actually picked out my wife and 2 girls got a tattoo of sun, moon, and stars, and each one of them had a different one colored in. And then my youngest daughter, who's extra on everything, said, "Oh, Dad, you're getting it, but you're getting them all colored in." That was the plan. Right up until I saw it. That's the girliest tattoo I've ever seen. Yeah, so now we came up with girl. So that'll be my tattoo, I guess, if I ever get it. I'm also I run a real estate team down in Stockbridge. Our best year was a couple of years ago at 39 million. We're probably on track to do 35 this year. Right now, I've been doing this for 23 years, and I'm an operating partner of 2 market centers, Athens and Stockbridge, and then I also buy and sell and flip and rent homes. Y'all probably seen me and Brian in here teaching the flip and hold class. So any of that we can talk about. Real estate, rather not talk about lawsuit, we could. I don't want to. Flipping, renting, OBN. What I would love to talk about is mindset and the value for you. We can talk about any of that you want to talk about. Everything else, I don't know anything about. Yes, ma'am.
So,
We can all talk about how.
no, off of our little meeting, I'm gonna put it on you.
What?
What do you say to a seller that says, this is lawsuit? I understand I don't have to pay buyer's commission anymore.
What would I say to them? You're an idiot.
You just.
Yep. Yeah. They don't let me go on too many appointments, so I would say you're an idiot, so that's why they don't, you got it. Actually, it happened the other day, one of my agents came to me and said, hey, she had a list agreement, but it wasn't gonna list for probably a month, and so, which means it really wasn't valid. But she already had it signed, and it was 6%, 3 and 3. And he called her and said, I'll bring you about the lawsuit. He wasn't being cheap. He said, I actually want to pay you 5%, my agent. I'm not trying to be cheap, but I don't want to pay them anything. I want you to make 5 and I don't want them to make anything. And so as she and I talked through it, what we finally went back to him and said is, it's so important to us that you pay that buyer's agent that I'll take a 2.5% pay cut. Thank you for wanting to pay that much, but I'll take 2.5 and I'll offer that 2.5 you're offering me to the others. And that's what we ended up doing. So I didn't love it that we went from 65, but we were paying it.
it's a business decision. I think if I'm sitting in somebody's living room, you know, if I get a listing up here, I'm probably gonna call it y'all. But if I actually came up here to take a listing, I may take anything, because I'm not too worried about what y'all think about me. You know, I'm not here in your backyard. In my backyard, I'm more concerned about my reputation. And so I'm just not comfortable throwing listings out there to zero. And by the way, I'm not doing the seller any justice at all. So why would I do that? So my opinion is I'm probably not gonna take it. But you know what? If I'm sitting there, if this listing's gonna pay my light bill that month, I'm in, right? What's business? That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Does that work? Anybody think I'm crazy or wrong or? No?
I got a Reynolds question for you.
Okay.
It's my understanding, and tell me I'm probably wrong, but it's my understanding that if you find a good property with no rental restrictions and it comps out at a good rate, obviously you want to get it at as cheaply as possible, but is it as important to get it at a reduced rate as if versus like a flip, right? So
No.
Right, okay.
It really then comes down to cash more than anything. How much cash you want to put into it. Most investor loans, you're gonna have to put 25% down. So obviously you want the best deal you can. If you plan on, you know, if your goal is to pay it off as quickly as possible, obviously you want it as cheap as possible and you don't want to refinance it. But you may have a goal to, but you know, you buy it and then refinance it, get cash out, buy another one, refinance it. So that would play in, you know, because you can only refinance it up to 75%.
Right.
So, you know, obviously getting a better deal, you'd be able to get a little more money in comparison to what you got. But 20 years, 30 years, fixes a lot of problems.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some of the rental houses I have today were the dumbest things you could ever imagine someone were to do it. And now 15 years later, they're almost paid off and they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it fixes a lot. Yeah. I mean, I generally just real quick on that, I'm looking for a $300 or $400 split between the mortgages and taxes and insurance and what I think the rent will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll walk up here and get my coffee.
Why don't you tell us like how you started and what your role is right now
How I started as an OB?
from A to B?
All right. That's one of the good parts.
Well, and mindset to get through, 'cause the market's hard, we're low on units.
Yeah.
Agents have more opportunity they have less opportunities to make more money.
Yeah.
And you've been through all the cycles, so talk about that journey and how your mindset impacts that.
That's what she's speaking about, love his mindset. And so, God, all right, bring me back to both y'all's questions and I'm gonna chase a rabbit real quick.
Point A to B,
Yeah,
how do you get from?
No, I mean, in a minute, I'm gonna chase a rabbit first, but then you gotta remind me
Yeah,
what the question is.
We're gonna go down our hole first.
Yeah. So believe it or not, I went 35 years of my life without reading a book. Not a book, not the first book, never read parts of books, but didn't complete a book. Graduated college without ever reading a book. Most people say that, oh, you must be one of these, you know, child geniuses. No, I'm an idiot. I'm just extremely devious. So I was able to weasel my way through college without reading a book. And about the age of 35, something hit me. The first book I ever read, cover to cover, the Bible. Go and read Numbers and Leviticus, every word of it. And dear God, it's like that is tough, man, to try to read that. So then I just started reading and I started changing. And I started learning about my brain, which most of y'all probably learned at the age of 20. I learned at the age of 35 to 45, reading books. And so my world literally started changing. Okay, my mindset started changing. I went from what could only be described, Brian Fair calls it fencing in. It's like in a time like right now, you hear a lot of people are afraid. You hear this, I don't want to call it ridiculous, but I'm going through this ridiculous thing called imposter syndrome, where you feel like, what the hell, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I may have never known what I was doing. I just got lucky, right? Not that. But I was kind of living my life, like literally trying to hold on to every dime, everything, just like, man, I'm just going to literally save my way to some sort of wealth or retirement. And then all of a sudden started reading books, started going out and meeting with other people, and my mind changed to where, hey, I can make this world what I want it to be. By the way, reading a great book, and y'all hear me say, I'm gonna go ahead and warn you now. Y'all gotta read this book, it's the greatest book in the world. Okay, whatever book it may be. And then 5 minutes later, I'm gonna say the greatest book in the world, it'll be a different book, right? So there's lots of them. By the way, I still think today, the greatest book for me that I ever read is, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life.
Mhm.
Because basically, life is a string of habits. They're either good habits or bad habits, right? If they're good, you're probably moving in a good direction. If they're bad, you're probably stagnant or not. Man, that doesn't mean you're smoking crack on the sidewalk. It could just mean you're sitting at home watching TV and Facebook all day, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean something terrible. So, change your habits, change your life. They followed around these people. This guy did a study on a bunch of self-made, not silver spoon people, but self-made millionaires and a bunch of poor people. And there's a distinct set of habits between the two, right? Wealthy people read more than one book a month. Poor people read less than one book a year. Wealthy people, and I don't remember the exact number, but like less than an hour of TV a day. Poor people watch 3 to 4 hours of TV a day. So there's just a string of habits. Just like the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book says, don't recreate the wheel. Just watch what somebody does and they're really good at it and follow them and do it. Which also changed my world in that bigger and better. And that was directly thanks to Brian Fair. When I met him, he said, I would like for you to start going out and we call it bigger and better and doing it bigger and better once a month or at least once a quarter. Go find somebody that's better than you, buy them coffee and sit down and talk to them. Life changing, absolutely life changing. And so I did that. And so, but to come back to this question, so it's all about mindset. I survived and crashed. Okay. Now I'm going to tell y'all something in my notes here. I wrote it down as Andrea was talking, when she was talking about all the different changes. I'm sitting in a meeting. Y'all probably don't know who Steve Harney is, but you probably know what keeping current matters is. I would absolutely subscribe to that probably. It's free. I mean, you can pay for parts of it, but get the daily blog. Really good. But Steve Harney started that. I think he's passed away now. But we're sitting there in a crash. And just like today, man, nobody's moving. Y'all sat here and heard a great presentation from interest rates, right? Nobody's moving. Nobody's going to give away their 3% mortgage and buy a house at 70% mortgage. Blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. Steve Harney sat up there and said, the sky's falling. It's the crash. Nobody's buying anything. Even if somebody wants to buy something, they can't get a loan for it. Do you all want to know why this real estate market sucks? I mean, he's looking at a bunch of real estate agents. He said, it's you. Quit saying that. And I'll tell you like he told us. Quit saying that shit. Get off your ass and go out and sell real estate. It's up to the realtors to spread the correct information so that this real estate market gets started. It's on us, right? So we're not going to do that if we don't have the right mindset. We're just not. So it's Steve Harney's words. Get off your ass. They are what they are. You know all the stories. Linda sent me something the other day that said, I'm gonna screw it all up. Don't quote me on the dates, but back in 19 something, 70 something or 80, if you said I'm gonna wait till the interest rates come down, they were like 7%. It was 20 something years before they ever came back down.
Yeah.
The real estate market like quadrupled in that much time, and you never bought a house. The best time to buy a house is now. Why is that? Am I just saying that because I'm a realtor?
No.
The best time always to buy a house is now. Why is that?
It's an appreciated asset.
Whatever happens, we know what's happening right now. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Period. So if we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you've got a need, whether it's schools or upside, downside, whatever it is, the time is now, right? So anyway, back to the question. This is not in here. I survived the crash. I was literally one of a handful of men. Ladies, forgive me, not trying to be sexist at all. But they're just in my board, MSAR. We went from probably 3,000 agents in the board down to about 500. And there wasn't more than me in that board that survived the crash. So some of the ladies did, the men didn't. And I was the #1 agent in MSAR that year. Now, the way I got that is because long ago I started buying and flipping houses, right? So I'm gonna learn how to do that. I made a bunch of friends. So when the crash happened, by the way, I survived the crash as a total gift from God. That's it. Wasn't anything I did, well, it was something I did. I learned how to flip houses and I met a bunch of guys who were flipping houses. So when the crash happened, I was sitting there at the courthouse steps with three of my friends. Nobody was buying anything. I was buying maybe one every 3 or 4 months because I didn't have any money. They were buying anywhere between three of them. They were buying between 5 and 10 a month. Rehabbing them. So here I am. I'm the only age of the group. So I've got between 5 and 10 remodeled listings going against REOs and short sales. They were selling like hotcakes. It was the greatest time of my life. My hair was this long, shorts and flip flops every day. I really looked like a hoodlum, but I was going through nasty houses every day. That's what I did. So I survived the crash because of that. When I say I was the number one agent, this kind of money. Our board, I don't know what y'all do up here, but our board would meet for the big banquet front at the aquarium. And it was tuxes and, really 2, 3, 4,000 people there. By the time it had started going downhill, the year that I was the number one agent, there's a place that y'all never heard of in Stockbridge called the Merle Manderson. It's about places out of this room right here. There was probably 100 people sitting in there. And it was like, there you go. Like, you're number one. Good job, dude. I'm the only one that survived. So I was the one. So anyway, saying all that to say I survived that because of the crash, because of living house. But Brian Fair knew he needed an OP in Stockbridge. He had too many places. He couldn't get to all of them. So he came to Stockbridge and started asking, who do I need to meet? Okay. So she asked the question. The one thing I've done in my life fairly well is manage my reputation. And so because of my reputation, he heard my name over and over and over again. So he came in there and I became an OP, but strictly off of that, off of reputation. That was why I got this job. And that's why I think most OPs have the job. Is because of good business decisions and good reputation. My business decisions at that time were not that great. My numbers look good, but the decisions were that great. So, he came down and met me, and if y'all didn't hear the story, he came into, did you have a question?
When was that?
When?
When?
I've been an OP for 10 years.
10, okay.
Yeah, just over 10 years. Yeah, but he came down to a little restaurant in Stockbridge to meet me called Italian Oven, and we'd never seen each other. And literally, I'm hair to hair, shorts, flip flops, and a t-shirt. And he walks in and he's looking around, and I'm standing there, and he's thinking, surely that can't be. There's no way I saw him looking at me. He finally walked over and said, "Are you John?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And it was weird, but it turned out great. But so that's the story. That's how I became an OP. Was that? And did you have a question too? Did I bring you back to the
Yeah.
mindset of getting there? Maybe?
Well, the mindset to get through all of that, but also like the end of cycle, because your business had to change a lot. What worked in the recession doesn't work in the high times and vice versa.
Right.
So your mindset of around shifting and being open to change.
Right. And I think now more than ever, trying to keep your mindset right is, and I wrote this in my notes, is a daily fight. Man, it's a fight, right? I mean, would y'all rather go home, pick up one of these books and show you, or would you rather turn on the TV and veg out for a minute?
Mhm.
It's okay, you say it. You'd rather go home and turn the TV on, right? You know what my actual therapy was going through all this was, man, I was struggling at one, right when I became an OP, I was struggling. Bad. I hit it pretty well, but I was struggling because all the flipping that we were doing, real estate had still not come back. It was still considered a crash. But now all of a sudden, these big companies that y'all know now is open and all them, but they weren't that in, started trickling into the courthouse steps. And where I would be at $150,000 on a house, they would be at 250. I mean, they would outbid us so far, it just wasn't funny. So I could see at the end of that coming, but the real estate wasn't back yet. And I'm literally panicked going, I don't know what to do. Man, at that time, I was probably 45 and 50. I'm like, golly, I'm not going to get a job at Delta. What the hell am I going to do? And so changing that mindset and fighting that every day, my therapy to start with, literally, to be perfectly honest, my youngest daughter, the extra one, was little. And I would literally come home from work every day, turn the TV on and lay in the floor, and she would just lay right on my arm and just cuddle up with you. And that was just my therapy. And I did that for a little while, you know, had my little moments of pity party. And then I knew I had to start getting right with my head, right? And so, you know, my pastor always says, you're either growing or shrinking, one of the two. If you think you're sitting on the fence still, you're shrinking, right? This is a freaking fight. And that fight is not going out and beating somebody up. That fight is reading and listening and meeting with people constantly. Constantly, because in this market right now, more so than probably ever, for most of y'all, if y'all weren't in the crash, man, the second you're not growing, your mind is going, oh shit, you might be looking for a job, right? How many of y'all thought?
Mhm.
How many of y'all be thought I'm fixing to go find a job? And you might have to, right? Who knows, right? Look, I mean, every top, I was lucky enough to sit in the top 50 mastermind. I got to do it with Jason. And it was funny, a room just like this, everybody walked in the door, they know it's the top 50 mastermind. Everyone I walked in the door going, I don't know why I'm here, I must be number 50. And then the next person walked in and go, I don't know what, I'm number 50, I'm sure y'all. That's what every person who walked in the door felt. It's the top 50 agents in Atlanta Partners out of what, 3,500? They all felt like, I don't even know why I'm here. Man, this is crazy. It's
What's the market like where you're at right now?
weird.
Weird.
So, yeah, so keep in mind, y'all's average sale here is what, 450s?
Ah, that.
Keep going.
I'm moving up here. Sure, my-
Way out there.
My boy.
No, Carly Pepper's sorry.
My whole country boy should be, right? Perfectly up here, right?
That'd be fine.
I would be unique.
It's charming. It's fun.
I was in New York one time and I pointed at, literally looked at this lady and I said, can I get them up? And she goes, what? And I said, and I pointed and I said, I'm up. And she goes, I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand you. So I looked around and go, and wrong. Freaking muppet. That's good shit, right? Yeah, in New York.
Why don't you say that to begin with?
Yeah. Golly, I'm running out of time, man. Ain't got something to do.
So what is your market like?
Our average sale is 300. And
No, like, are you flash listing heavy, buyers, are they out, what's your?
my team is pretty listed. Our market right now is if it's under 300, our average sale is 300. If it's under 300, it's flying off the shelf. Yeah, almost like a few years ago, right? Not 20 people in line, but more than one offer. If it's 400 and over, like my neighbor that I have to come on every day and look at him out working in his yard, and I've got his house listed at 525. Yeah, it's extremely slow. So that's where we are, where I'm at, right? So what do you do, right? And what do you do? What's the answer to this question? Well, we work on our brains and make sure our heads are right. And we're learning and growing we're not going to go far from there.
So what are you doing for the 525?
What's that?
What are you doing for your, not maybe you, but your team, what are you doing for the 525 house? How are you?
Sign deal.
Huh?
Sign deal.
No, stop. What else are you doing? Are you doing anything else to help you? Because some of us have listings that aren't moving.
Right. Well, I mean, I would tell you what's working, but it's not working. So because I have specific, but I mean, normal, I mean, there's nothing new in real estate. I mean, we're social media in it to death. We've had multiple open houses there, which we rarely do that. We try to do an open house for every listing, but we've had multiple in this one.
And
How many price adjustments? Only one. But because of him, not because I haven't asked him for one. Yeah.
what about the condition of the house?
Perfect. I mean, just under perfect, not remodel perfect, but
Right.
living perfect. Yeah, they take great care of it.
Yeah. I'm just making buyers. Is it your favorite neighbor?
Not yet.
I was gonna say, but I was gonna say, I don't think you would have let him listen.
No.
So I'm just like, are you cleaning up the curb appeal? Are you having them paint? Are you?
It's perfect. When I say the only reason it may not be perfect is because they're a little older than I am. It's not dated, but it's not like fresh new perfect. But as far as taking care of, curb appeal and all that, it could be.
Do y'all stage, like, if
Even though the house looks great, right? They've got the fringy
Yeah.
shades and the fringes on everything because they're old. The house feels old.
No, we've taken all that. Yeah, we're taking that out. Like I said, we're social media, and if we're open house and we're, sitting in meetings like this,
Are
telling
you
people
getting
about it.
open house traffic?
Yeah.
You are?
How long has it been on the market?
2 months.
So you think it's listed to, you would significantly
I agree.
lower it?
I think we, the almost identical house, we're at 525, almost identical. We started at 535. And the day after we listed 535, a very similar house, size, finished basement, all of that listed at 520. We're at 535. So that didn't help. He's still pretty stubborn and he just wants to come down, but we're about to.
And did that one sell?
Okay, so
Yeah, almost immediately.
Yeah.
where do you want them to drop to?
520.
Really? You didn't know you were getting real about your list.
I know, right?
No, I'm just thinking thought process here, because
Exactly,
to
it's
me,
funny.
if it's not selling at 525, it's not gonna sell at 520.
But
You think it will? Well, that won't do anything.
The search.
I don't think that'd do anything.
Well, 520 is where it should be. So,
Okay.
I mean, there's two perfect comps at 520.
So my thought process is, you gotta get to the next price break. Yeah. Like $4.99.
Dear God, not going to be
Well,
there.
I'm
It's great. It's a big
I
one.
want you to I wanna hear what you're gonna say.
Let's finish that one later. Okay? Yeah, let's do that later.
Yeah, all right, I just need to have.
Andrew fixing to give me the hook and like, I can't read that clock.
20 minutes.
That's right, it's probably wrong. All right, next question, sorry.
I got, two questions for you. Are you still actively buying rental properties in this market right now?
Yes, I haven't bought one in a minute.
Second question is, talk us through your latest deal, how you found it, how you funded it, what the price was, whatever. it is.
The last 2 or 3 have been flips. I haven't bought a rental in, it's been a minute, like probably 6, maybe a year.
So you're primarily focused.
But the deals that I found, so when we teach the flip and hold class, Brian holds everything. I flip. I generally flip houses to be able to have the cash to buy rentals, right? So the flipping money, I don't take home. Flipping money goes into the county, because if you're buying a rental house, all right, real quick on that. Let's say it's $200,000, you get a 75% loan, so that's $50,000 that just came out of your bank account. Your net worth sheet looks great, right? You only owe this, it's worth this, it looks great, but you got 50 grand plus rehab that just came out of your account. So I flip, buy rent, flip, buy rent. So I'm funding that, is how I do it. The last several deals that I've done have been agents. They all know down there the bring me deals. And so the last 2 or 3 have been agents, just bring me deals. You want it.
So you're the go-to guy.
Well,
What's that?
how do you have to be the go-to guy? Tyler was asking, how did you find it?
Build, buy rental.
Okay,
So.
that works. I mean, I'm assuming that works.
Do your from purchase to sale.
Yeah, well, depending on where, like if you get it at the courthouse steps, you got about a month, but you gotta wait before you get the deed on it. So if I'm in the courthouse steps, and we're still getting courthouse steps every month, it's just few and far between when we get there. Like I said, we used to buy tons there, and now we probably buy maybe 5 or 6 a year on the courthouse step. My goal is 4 months. I mean, generally, we don't buy a whole lot of houses that require adding an addition or tearing walls down. Generally, our stuff is fairly cosmetic. So we're shooting for 4 months. We can get in and out in 4 months. That works. Time's a huge issue, right? Which is why when people say, y'all a bunch of scumbags, you're, robbing people, blah, blah, blah. It's because we make a $40,000 profit on a house. Well, if I think it's gonna sell for, let me speak in y'all's terms. If I think it's gonna sell for 500, we don't buy many like that down there. But if I think it's gonna sell for 500 because of speed, which is very important because who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow, I take 480. Well, 20 grand of my profit just went out the door. So when I say I need a $60,000 profit on this deal, that's a lie. Because I may make a decision that not what the market does, not the industry, just I want it done. So I just took a $20,000 cut and I lost 20 grand. But speed matters. I'd rather take 40 today than 60 3 months. Yes, sir.
Lender side of this, I'm curious, in your 4-month timeframe, how often do you run into that 90-day FHA rule, and is that ever
Yeah.
your deal?
Um,
Or
Yeah, we had one just recently, kind of got that a little bit down to science. It doesn't happen as much anymore because it's been taking us a little bit longer. With all these companies that have come in and they're buying all these deals, they love to buy your little 3.2s that are really easy clips. So the ones that are more destroyed, they're a little shy of buying. And so our clips are taking a little longer because that's where we're buying those. But just recently we got one that was a 90 days. So we tell them when an agent comes in, and y'all, maybe we'll talk about this afterwards if y'all want to. When an agent comes in and it's inside of that 90 days, we'll tell them right up front. So look, we're on day 72. We're gonna write a contract. We're gonna figure out all the details on it. We're gonna bind it. It's not really bound, but we're gonna bind it. And then we're gonna rewrite one for the 91st day. Okay, so we got this one. On the 91st day, this one's gonna kick in. And then we'll tear this one out.
So I got one more question for you. But one of our agents online did a flip on Lake Lanier, and it looks like he's gonna have to lose money to sell. If he rents it, he will grow for a 4% return before property taxes. Would you sell it, take a lot, move on, or keep it?
I probably, well, I don't know how much loss, I don't know how much loss, but I would probably sell it and move on. It happens.
Depending on the lot.
Rarely does it happen.
The tax
But it does happen. What's that?
Tax deduction.
Tax deduction.
Yeah.
That's not why we're doing it.
No.
Yeah.
But guys, pick John's brain, he's not leaving, he's gonna hang out because he has so much experience in all facets of this business. And that is very hard to find somebody that has that kind of broad experience. And so take a minute, and did everybody get value out of today? All right, where's Chris? Get up here. Come on.
Hold on, I'm gonna get you over there. I'm just taking 4 hours.
Should I hold it?
Yeah, you should hold it.
Okay.
Because, so I started to wear my other shirt, which is, she quit and I'm unsupervised. I was under orders, put this one back. So I can't follow instructions, I just can't tell time. Chris with New Tech, I think most of y'all, are pretty familiar with this, but for the first time, I went through and I was capturing pictures and I looked at all good examples of some things that we see. So people see that and they run scared, right? Well, that's just a shower. That mold grows, it happens. And the guy that owned that place confessed he took long, hot showers. He worked 12-hour days and he wasn't going to hang around. So we cleaned it up. You don't have to cut the ceiling, you don't have to destroy it. That can be cleaned, right? So that's one example of just humidity-driven mold. Now, that's a crawl space. We see that all the time. And there's your after. So those are humidity-driven events. They're not, it's normal. This is Georgia. At 60% humidity, that stuff's going to start growing. That's all there is to it, right?
And you just clean those boards, you didn't replace them.
No, you don't have to. No. No, the only time you replace something is when it's rotted, okay? Now, these are unfinished basements. And again, everybody looks at that and they think that it's dust. They think it's, you know, a little bit of dirt or something, but that's actual mold growth, all right? If you test it, there's 2 or 3 different types that are going to show up. Again, you don't got to replace anything. And if we're going to go into a second, what happens if you just spray it? Now, these are water damage, all right? That was one of my favorites, that one on the left. There was literally one little itty bitty brown spot. And had we not heard that there had been a water event, but it was minor. The whole basement looked like that up to about a foot, all right? Yeah. So those are the things that you see. And now you bet you are cutting and moving. That kitchen cabinet was one of my personal favorites. You look at that cabinet, you all see that all the time, right? I got bad news. That was what was behind that cabinet. That leak went on for a period of time. And when we saw it, we're like, yeah, that whole cabinet, that whole bank of cabinets is coming out. There's no choice, right? And then this one, the homeowners, they kept smelling. They're like, we keep smelling. The wife was like, I smell it. I know it's here. They called in 3 different companies, 2 plumbers, and everybody kept telling them, we don't know what's wrong. We can't find anything. I walked in, that's the other, it's an attic space. I pulled the insulation back. I'm like, yeah, there's your mold. That's what you smell. And everybody looks at me and they go, how come nobody else saw it? I said, I'm not sure. I don't know what to tell you, but And in that case, yeah, they were tearing the shower apart anyway. Their question was, can their contractor do it or should we do it? Now, I'm gonna leave that up to you. That whole back, head to toe, was covered in mold. Who should do that work?
You,
Thank you.
we don't need that everywhere.
Here's the next one. And this one tells you the story. That filter at the start of that day was white.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That is a HEPA filter, okay? And y'all wonder what happens when people do it themselves. That bathroom, I wish I could have found the original picture. The wallpaper can peel a little bit. That's what clued everybody in. They're like, we think something happened here. Nobody said anything about a leak, all right? My techs called me and they're like, we're not taking the wallpaper off. We're cutting this thing. It's bad. And they were running because it's an interior bathroom. That air scrubber is running to make sure that nothing goes out into the house. That's what it looked like at the end of the day. So I wanted y'all to see those because a lot of times I get phone calls and they're like, should we do it ourselves? Can my contractor do it? What should we do? Here's some good examples of things that might look that big, but that's why we're not charging you to come out. We'll look at it. We'll give you a fair evaluation and I'll tell you what I think. Now, I might be wrong. It's happened. Twice. However, those are the things that I did. I wanted to give you some just visual examples. This is the stuff that we're seeing every day. And then I want to say thank you to all of the agents because I know we got a lot of buyer terminations. So I'm getting a lot of calls. They'll schedule something and then everybody's like, well, they'll hit me at 9 o'clock. They just terminated, we got to cancel. So number one, thank you all very much because that helps us immensely. Number two, I'm going to go back to, we don't charge you to come out. Number three, couple deals we're back on getting paid from closing proceeds is greasing the skids because sellers are like, I'm not coming out of pocket. So that is something that's helping out a lot.
Can I just say, Chris is not in the business of blowing up our deals. He is one of the very few mold guys that is not gonna come out and tell you that the house needs to be burnt down and just start over. So please, the fact that he will go out there for free, take a look at stuff and give you honest feedback and say that something can be cleaned versus completely gutted is massive. So leverage that. All right, Snoop.
So other than that, some water, some light structural, I've got one KW agent who's calling me on some stuff. I'm like, I'm an engineer. She's just look, please. All right, so today, I did some barbecue. Some of the chicken, it's on just a little bit of light seasoning, no sauce. One of the chickens is sauce. The pork, one of them was cooked with onions, one of them was cooked without. I never know who's who, right? The sauce that's in the one container, now I made that. It's got a little heat to it. It's not bad, but it's sweet on the front end and on the back end, you're gonna taste it.
And is that your ceremony?
That is fair. I loved it. I wanted to light it up.
It's in the little.
I could make more. So other than that, if you'll give us just 1 minute, because we did want to unwrap all the aluminum because it's loud as heck. And then y'all can start piling in. All right? Thank you.
No, thank you. Not quite to say, hopefully we'll save you up some money. That picture of the sink in the kitchen that had a leak behind it, when you call your insurance agent, it was just now happening, not a slow leak. A slow leak will not be paid for.
That's right. That's right.
If I insurance people, not my, not
Just now.
but my others, the people that call you, they coached me into saying it was a slow leak. It just happens.
So number one, while he said that, you never, ever, ever call your insurance company and tell them you have mold. You had a water problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Don't say mold.
No.
You say mold, they're gonna run for the hills. Number two, it's as long as the wood's not rotted, you're safe.
If you are here for career day and you're a guest of mine, you get first dibs on food. So just go through this store once career gets done, and then we'll go next door and do career day.
Yeah, what?
For all of that.
So go find it, right next to there.